Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is April 14th, 2024, and reporters close to Luis Enrique have revealed that the Spanish coach would love to coach the current Barcelona team. Also, the CTA, or the Committee of Referees, have confirmed that Raphinha's goal was indeed legal against Las Palmas. And finally, Bartomeu is reportedly planning a press conference in order to discuss his tenure at the club. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. And before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. Both links for kit bag and Bet Us are down below in the description. Now, I'll begin with the news that after yesterday's victory against Cadiz 0-1, a lot of people are now talking about Oscar Hernandez's record, where he has won 7 matches, drawn 0, and lost 0 matches as the coach of Barcelona whenever Xavi was suspended, with some memes even calling him 007 Asian for the 0 loss, 0 draws, and of course 7 victories. And even some people suggesting that if Xavi Hernandez does end up leaving at the end of the season, that perhaps we should try to hire his brother, Oscar Hernandez. And this is something I touched about in yesterday's podcast, but I said that yes, Oscar Hernandez has gone 7 victories as Barcelona's coach in place of Xavi. But let's all be honest, that's in fact Xavi Hernandez's record, not Oscar, because even though Oscar was the coach during those matches, it's still Xavi. He is the coach. He's the one who trains the team throughout the week ahead of the match. He's the one who picks the strategy that the team's going to use. He's the one who picks the starting lineup. And even though it's Oscar who decides the substitutions on a day to match, usually when coaches are suspended, they still communicate with their assistant coaches and give them instruction on who the substitutions are. So yes, good job, Oscar, for getting those 7 victories. But let's all be honest, that is Xavi Hernandez's achievement, not Oscar. But of course, I do like to hear from you guys. What do you think about Oscar Hernandez's record with 7 victories? Do you think it belongs to him, or is it credit more to Xavi? Let me know down below. And speaking of coaches, reporters close to Luis Enrique have revealed that the Spanish coach would love a chance at coaching the current Barcelona squad. It seems that Luis Enrique believes that the current Barcelona squad has a lot of talented players, especially the youngsters who are showing a lot of potential. And Luis Enrique would love to coach this team because he believes that it's a team that has a lot of potential. Now, of course, it's not going to happen because Luis Enrique does have a contract with PSG that he wants to see through. He wants to build a winning project at the French club. But the reason I bring this up is because it highlights a point that I've been talking about a lot in my previous videos, which is whenever people have tried to defend Xavi by using the excuse that somehow Xavi is not really coaching a strong team or that Xavi has not gotten his signings, I've always maintained the position that Barcelona has an incredibly talented and competitive squad, a squad that any coach would love to coach. You know, we have some of the best players in the world, players like Ter Stegen, Araujo, Koundé, Christensen, Cancelo, Balde, Joao Felix, Frankie, Pedri, Gabi, Gundogan, Lewandowski, and we have some pretty young and talented players like Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí, Hector Ford, Marguiu, and even Vitor Roque himself. So we do have a competitive squad, and this news highlights that because we have some coaches who would love to coach the squad. Coaches like Hansi Flick, who is willing to wait until the last day for Barcelona, risking that he might not have a job next season. We now know that Luis Enrique would also love to coach Barcelona. And these are not some random coaches. These are coaches like Hansi Flick, who has won a sextuple, and Luis Enrique, who has won a treble. So it definitely highlights the point that we do have a competitive squad. And I think we need to stop with the whole self-pity, and we need to stop, you know, with the whole we're a Cinderella team, that we don't have what we want or we don't have good players. That's totally false. We have a competitive squad. We always talk about PSG being an insecure club that's always trying to compare themselves to Barcelona. It's a club that has an inferiority complex. I think when we do these kind of things, we try to minimize our squad. We're doing pretty much the same thing as PSG. So it's very important to understand that no, Barcelona is not a Cinderella team. It's a strong club with strong players and very competitive squad. So I think we need to stop with the self-pity, because some pretty great coaches would love to coach our team, and we've seen how great our team can be, you know, in matches against Atletico Madrid, Napoli, and PSG. And speaking of PSG, it's been revealed that the Ligue 1 has decided to suspend some matches in the French league in order for their teams to be prepared for European competitions, including, of course, PSG, who will be playing against us on Tuesday, and even Marseille, who will be playing a Europa League. So that means that Barcelona will arrive at with a disadvantage at the second leg of the quarterfinals of the Champions League, having played a match yesterday, and PSG having gotten to rest, which is hopefully will not affect our chances at qualifying to the semi-final. But I am surprised that UEFA does not have a rule against this, because at the end of the day, the reason why bodies like UEFA exist is to make sure that that the playing field is leveled. And when you're allowing the French league to give extra rest to a team, and then La Liga, we're still playing our respective matches, this definitely is not leveling the field. So I'm very surprised about this decision, or about the fact that UEFA doesn't have a rule against this. But I do want to hear you guys' opinions. What do you think about PSG being able to rest this weekend where they were supposed to play against Lorient? Let me know down below. Now on to the news that Deco has given an interview where he has discussed Xavi Hernandez's future. And in regards to that, the Barcelona sporting director said, currently there's no plan to change Xavi's mind. If there is, we'll discuss it. So Deco saying that no, they're not planning on trying to change Xavi's mind, that Xavi has still made up his mind to leave at the end of the season, which I thought was a little bit interesting, because given that Laporta and Rafa used to have said in the past that they do want to convince Xavi Hernandez's mind, and now Deco saying that that's not the plan, it makes you think, what actually is Barcelona's plan? This is something I've talked about in previous videos, where there's always been a discrepancy between what Laporta says, what Eustace says, what Deco says, what everyone says. So it's definitely interesting to know what exactly is Barcelona trying to do. But in regards to Xavi's decision, he did touch upon that in a pre-match press conference right before the match against Cadiz, and this is what the Barcelona coach had to say. You know, the one I didn't see coming. Now the assumptions are positive. Those of the majority, the fact of changing the dynamic is this. But already on the day of the decision, the assumption of everybody else was already positive, and the decision is not going to change. So Xavi Hernandez still maintaining that he has not changed his mind, that he wants to leave at the end of the season. Deco saying that the club do not want to change Xavi's decision, that kind of he decides to change his decision, that will be on his own, that the club are not going to try to convince him otherwise. And of course, Laporta and Eustace on the other hand saying that yes, they do want to try to convince Xavi Hernandez to stay, which makes me believe that there's a little bit of a mess and indecision within the club, where the club do not really know what to do. Hopefully they figure out pretty soon, because we are approaching the end of the season and we really need to decide, what are we going to do? Are we going to try to keep Xavi? Are we going to try to convince him? Are we trying to hire a coach? What's going to happen? I really need to think that the board of directors need to get their act together and make a final decision. Otherwise, we risk not being left with many options as far as the next manager. Now on to the shocking news that the Committee of Referees, or the CTA as it's known by its Spanish initials, have decided that Raphinha's goal against Las Palmas that was ruled as offside was done so in an incorrect manner. Now we all remember that goal where Lewandowski and Las Palmas defender were battling for the ball, and Las Palmas defenders ends up clearing the ball towards Raphinha, who ends up shooting it and scoring a goal. But this was disallowed as an offside goal, because when the whole play started, Raphinha was indeed in an offside position. He was not in an offside position when he gets the ball from Las Palmas defender, but nonetheless the VAR and the referee decided that this was an offside goal. And of course I criticized this decision in my post-match live analysis, saying that it was an incorrect decision, because yes, Raphinha was indeed in offsides when the whole play started, but the fact that it was Las Palmas defender who cleared the ball towards Raphinha, that completely nullifies Raphinha's initial offside position. And it seems that the CTA have agreed with me in saying that that goal was disallowed in an incorrect manner, in that it should have been allowed. Thankfully, Barcelona were still able to defeat Las Palmas by a 1-goal difference. Otherwise, this could have definitely prejudiced Barcelona in the race for La Liga title. Now we will end today's video with the news that the former Barcelona president Josep Maria Bartomeu is currently planning a press conference where he wants to discuss his tenure at the club. Now we all know how controversial Bartomeu's reign at Barcelona was, where he nearly bankrupted the club with his overspending. It's also looking like he might have even been stealing money from the club and laundering it through different methods. And of course, we cannot all forget about the Barca gate, where Bartomeu was discovered to have hired a PR firm in order to disparage players like Messi, like Piqué, because they were opposed to his reign. And now it seems that Bartomeu thinks that all the criticism in the media has been unfair to him, and as such, he wants to hold a press conference in order to clarify things, to defend his position, and to give his side of the story. Now, this to me is absolutely outrageous, the fact that Bartomeu is even thinking about holding a press conference to defend his position. I think what he did at the club was absolutely indefensible. He nearly bankrupted Barcelona, not to mention all the damage that he did to the sporting project, you know, renewing players who were Asian with incredibly high salaries and making some very random signings like Malcolm, like Arthur, like Firpo, like Braithwaite, and passing up the chance to sign players like Haaland, like Mbappe, like Alphonso Davies. He did so much damage to the club, both financially and on the sporting side. And it even seems that he was stealing money and committing crimes against Barcelona, and the fact that he wants to defend that is absolutely outrageous to me. I think if Bartomeu wants to hold a press conference, it has to be to apologize to all Barcelona fans and to resign as a Barcelona club members, because a criminal, a crook, and a thug should never be associated with our club. But well, of course, we're gonna have to wait and see what Bartomeu has to say, so make sure you stay tuned to the channel, because as soon as that press conference, of course, happens, of course, I will be there in order to cover it. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.